Hello, this is Brian. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2024, and I'm here along Lockwood Valley Road in far northern Ventura County, here in Southern California. And I've done some video in this area a couple of years ago. I'm back here, and I want to do a little botany of the upper Lockwood Valley Road area. We are between Frazier Park, much closer to Frazier Park, between Frazier Park and Ojai, much closer to Frazier Park. And I want to just take some time to botanize and show you what's growing here in the backcountry of Ventura County. So we're probably just a little bit above 5,000 feet elevation here, and we have a lot going on here in this area. The primary vegetation is pinyon woodland. Pinyon woodland mixed with chaparral shrubs, but there's a lot more than just pinyon pine growing here. So let's see what we got. First off, here along the side of the road, we have this right here, which is annual burr sage or annual burr ragweed, and this is Ambrosia acanthocarpa. This is a common native annual that colonizes roadsides, trail sides, and disturbed areas. It can be locally abundant, and of course our predominant tree here is single-leaf pinyon pine, and this is Pinus monophylla. And over in this area in Ventura County, they tend to grow quite upright and quite narrow. As some of this area, they actually form more of a forest in some spots than a woodland. This is on a north-facing slope, as you could tell, and that's why these pinyon pines are very densely packed. That's why we got a lot of single-leaf pinyon growing here. And then we got Great Basin sagebrush right here. Artemisia tridentata, subspecies tridentata. Just one of a couple species of Artemisia growing here, and I'll be pointing out another one momentarily. Yeah, this is the Great Basin sagebrush. They can get much larger than this in some areas. So we have another species of Artemisia right here, get around this plant here. This is dragon sagewort. This is Artemisia dracunculus, another species of Artemisia growing here. And unlike Great Basin sagebrush, which is a woody-based shrub, this one is a winter dormant perennial. So it dies back to its root and resprouts from the root in the springtime. So it's going to start going dormant for winter, and then it'll resprout in the spring. So yes, we're looking at two species of Artemisia here. And then we got a form of rabbit brush, Ericameria nauseosa. And we're going from flowers to seeds, as is typical in late October. The flowers are going to start turning into seeds very soon. And there's definitely a lot to botanize here. So I'm going to go head up towards something else, but I'm going to take a couple pictures and I'll explain more of what's growing here. So what we got growing here? This right here is curl-leaf mountain mahogany. This is Cercocarpus ledifolius variety intermontanus. So we got curl-leaf mountain mahogany growing here. A lot of times you'll find this high, even way higher up to 8,000 and 9,000 feet plus here in Southern California, but sometimes down to even maybe below 5,000 feet in some areas. So yeah, this is the curl-leaf mountain mahogany, and this is our local variant. And Cercocarpus is Greek for tail fruit, and I'm getting a good visual there on that. As you can kind of see here, fruit's kind of shaped a little bit like a tail. It's a little fuzzy. You can see the seed at the tip, and there's a little fuzzy feather-like portion of it below it. That is the seed, and that's what the Greek term is, Cercocarpus, tail fruit. And there's another Cercocarpus Cercocarpus ledifolius Ferretti intermontanus right there in the center. Some more single leaf pinions. And we got quite a bit of stuff growing here. Go head over here and I'll show you some more stuff. Alright, so we also have a lot of Jeffrey pine growing here. Pinus Jeffrey. A lot of Jeffrey pine in this area. It may be outnumbered by the single leaf pinions that grow here. Here's another single leaf pinion. But we do get quite a bit of Jeffrey pine growing in the area. What's amazing to me is that single leaf pinion, typically being a smaller tree species, some of the pinyon pines here are almost as tall as a lot of these Jeffrey pines. Jeffrey pines by nature are much larger trees than pinions. But that narrow one there, that's a pinyon pine. Pinyon, there's a Jeffrey. Yeah, some of these pinyon pines are quite tall and narrow. But yeah, we got a lot of Jeffrey pine growing along here. Ooh, and we got pale silk tassel, Garrya flavescens. It's another common montane species here in Southern California. Yep, this is Garrya flavescens right here, pale silk tassel. Pretty cool species to see when we're here. And then we also have hoary coffeeberry, Frangula californica, subspecies tomentella. I see this a lot when I'm hiking in San Diego and San Gabriel Mountain. Sometimes you'll see it in the San Gabriel Mountains. A lot of times you'll see it a lot at Mount Laguna in San Diego County. Palomar Mountain. See that a lot in San Diego County as well. But yeah, Garrya flavescens, Frangula californica, subspecies tomentella. And then here's another common species in Southern California. This is an arroyo willow, Salix lasiolipus, only with much smaller leaves. Wetter areas, the leaves can get much larger, but this looks like a Salix lasiolipus. Yeah, this is an arroyo willow. The leaves are much smaller on this one. Some of the ones I've seen where I'm hiking near San Diego, sometimes they have much larger leaves for some reason. But up in the mountains, sometimes they have smaller leaves. So about this little creek here running, or creek ephemeral drainage running along here on Lockwood Valley Road. And we're not that far from a place called Pine Springs Campground. And I know there's a Sierra Club HPS peak nearby called San Guillermo Mountain, which is a little over 6,600 feet. Which is a little bit that way. San Guillermo Mountain should be over that way. But yeah, we're not that far from the Pine Springs Campground Access Road, which is just a little bit up this way on Lockwood Valley Road. Maybe the next time I'm out here, maybe I'll have a chance to stop by and try to climb that one day, which would be nice. Yeah, this is a beautiful Ventura County backcountry. Yeah, there's quite a bit of Jeffrey pine mixing in here too. But yeah, the predominant pine is pinyon pine, but yeah, these Jeffrey pines do mix in quite a bit here. Especially closer to the creek for some reason. Because normally you'd see these Jeffrey pines usually higher up, but sometimes they do get established pretty well lower down where you can mix in these creek bottoms with the more riparian vegetation or more moisture loving vegetation. However, Jeffrey pines are very, very drought tolerant. So that should not be a surprise that they would do well here as well. But typically, they're more of a higher elevation tree. Like I say, we're just a little above 5,000 feet elevation. So it's just pretty interesting. Some places in Southern California, Jeffrey pines can get established at pretty low elevations. San Diego County, they can get established below 3,500 feet sometimes in San Diego County. But you wouldn't expect that low here in Southern California. But yeah, as you can see, the willows are starting to change color, starting to get their typical golden yellow fall foliage, as is typical for this time of year. And we got a lot of manzanita here, most of which I suspect is Manzanita, Arctostaphylos periana, subspecies periana. What do we have here? I think we got a hollyleaf redberry. Yeah, here we go. Rhamnus ilicifolia, hollyleaf redberry, growing up here. Sometimes, some places here in Southern California, you see it in the near coastal foothills. Sometimes you'll see it nearly at 7,000 feet in the mountains. Again, here we are a little bit above 5,000 feet, and we got ourselves a hollyleaf redberry, Rhamnus ilicifolia. One of at least 3 species of rhamnus we have here in Southern California. Rhamnus ilicifolia, Rhamnus crocea, which is typically Southern Orange County and San Diego County and Southern Riverside County, and Rhamnus pilosa, the hairy redberry, which is more commonly found in San Diego County, especially near Powell and Ramona. A lot of videos I've done this week, I've done some hiking in the Powell range, and I've come across quite a bit of it. But yeah, this is Rhamnus ilicifolia, hollyleaf redberry. So we got that growing here too. So yeah, I'm gonna go poke around a little bit, and then I'm going to continue the botanical tour of northern Ventura County. All right, so we also got some other stuff growing around here too. There's a lot of stuff to check out when you're here in this transitional area. As you go further south, you're going to be heading towards the mountains near Ojai, like Pine Mountain, where Reyes Peak is located, which has a very rich forest of white fir, Jeffrey pine, Pacific ponderosa pine, sugar pine, incense cedar. There's some incense cedar there. So yeah, so you have your richer montane forest over there. And then over here is still quite diverse as well. Now we got these shrubby trees here. These are canyon live oaks, another common feature here. Quercus chrysolipus. And they're a very common feature here in Southern California's mountainous regions. They can range from these smaller shrubby trees to as small as a small medium-sized shrub in very stunted locations, ranging back upwards towards possibly one of, if not the largest species of oak in the world. Canyon live oak. This one has quite a bunch of different sizes and forms. Small scrubby bush to a monster tree with some absolutely gargantuan trunks. So yeah, Quercus chrysolipus, ladies and gentlemen. Canyon live oak. And it's got acorns developing on it. In fact, I'm just going to go hop across the street here carefully. There has been some traffic, as you probably heard on the camera. Here's a smaller specimen here. A smaller upright specimen. It's got acorns on it too. It's developing. Look at those fat golden acorn cups. Chrysolipus, gold scale, gold cup. Gold cup oak is another name for canyon live oak. This one is a smaller, shrubbier, but more upright tree-like specimen. But sometimes these can get some large, massive trunks on them. But yeah, here we are. These acorns are not even full size. I've seen acorns get nearly twice as big as this. And sometimes their acorn cups are really thick. And they start off golden scaled, and then they kind of lose their golden lustrous scales towards maturity, and when they're dried out and the acorns have fallen out. In fact, here's a cup right here, and these aren't even nearly as large as I've seen them, but these are thick. These are thick acorn cups. A lot of acorn cups, you can kind of press them and they'll collapse in under the pressure of your finger. I can't even, there's barely any give. Really, basically no give. Here we go. Here's a canyon live oak acorn right here. This one kind of turned black. A lot of times it'll be a light, like a medium brown, but sometimes they'll get a really dark color like this. And this feels like a full acorn. So this is a canyon live oak acorn, and they can get bigger than this. They can get significantly bigger than this. So, canyon live oak, another one of our fantastic tree species. And here's yet another species of oak, which is not closely related, besides being an oak. This is Tucker oak right here. This is Quercus John Tuckeri. See, canyon live oak is a golden oak in the Protobalanus section of the oaks. This here, the John Tuckeri, is a white oak. It's in the section Quercus or Lepidobalanus. So the difference is, golden oaks, like canyon live oak and several other species, their acorns ripen in 2 growing seasons. White oaks ripen in 1 growing season. So these are going to be ripened pretty soon. These used to be female flowers that were pollinated this spring of 2024, and they'll be ripening within the next couple of weeks. So there you have it. Quercus John Tuckeri. And we got some more Tucker oak growing over here as well. And here's the acorn of a Tucker oak right here. Quercus John Tuckeri. They could turn a dark brown when they're ripening as well. So this is more of a shrub oak. These can sometimes form small tree-sized thickets, but these are typically shrubs. So Quercus John Tuckeri. And being in this very diverse area, I got a lot more to point out, so stick with me. I got more to talk about. All right, so here's our next botanical stop, and this is Douglas butterweed. Senecio flaxinus, usually a late summer to mid-fall bloomer. It's a perennial subshrub. It's in the sunflower family. So we got 3 beautiful flower heads here. So these are actually 3 composite flowers, meaning this is a flower head. The ones that stick out like petals are the ray florets. The yellow stuff in the center are the disc florets. So it's a composite flower head from which many seeds arise. And there's quite a bit of diversity growing here. And I believe what we have here is a Perry manzanita. I think this is Arctostaphylos perriana, subspecies perriana. I do still have some difficulty with my manzanitas, bear with me, but I'm pretty sure this is what I'm looking at right here. Pretty impressive. And then, if you saw my videos from earlier this week, where I was talking about a lot of thick leaf yerba santa, Eriodictyon crassifolium, Verdi crassifolium. Well, here's another related variant of Eriodictyon crassifolium. This is the bicolored yerba santa. This is Eriodictyon crassifolium variety nigrescens. This variant is typically found more in the interior mountain regions here in Southern California, whereas the other variant, variety crassifolium, is often found closer to the coast and in the foothills and on the coastal side of the mountains. This one's usually found more interior, further into the mountains, in my experience. I've seen it a few times. Seen it especially in LA County. I've seen it around Liebre Mountain in northwest Los Angeles County. And I've seen it in the San Gabriel Mountains as well. Along with variety crassifolium, I've seen that variant as well in the San Gabriels. But this one you tend to find a little further interior, at least in my experience. So this is Areodictyon crassifolium variety nigrescens. And the underside of the leaves are a little lighter than the top side of the leaves. I'm guessing maybe that's why bicolored is the common name for it. Nigrescens kind of stems from the term of something that's turning dark, kind of turning darker colored or blackish. But it's maybe because the upper side of the leaves are darker. Maybe. That's kind of my guess about that. So yeah. A lot of Tucker oak. There's quite a bit of Tucker oak growing around here too. Tucker oak, I was talking about Tucker oak earlier. Tucker oak prefers these much further interior canyons and mountain slopes than the other types of scrub oaks. Tucker oak is a close relative of several other scrub oaks we have growing in the mountains and on the coastal side, the foothills, and even by the coast itself, like Quercus dumosa, the coastal scrub oak from San Diego and southern Orange County, Quercus berbertifolia, which is a lot more widespread here in California, which is a California scrub oak, and Quercus acutidens, which is a hybrid between the Engelmann oak and the Mueller scrub oak, which is another more desert side of the mountains type of oak as well. And what kind of coffee berry is this? This one, I'm not gonna try to scramble down this too far. I think this is still Tomentella. There is another subspecies that could possibly be found here, which would be the Sierra coffee berry, subspecies cuspidata. But I think this one's still Tomentella. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a beautiful place. This is definitely a beautiful place to go visit, explore, and just appreciate the natural beauty of Southern California. We're in the Los Padres National Forest right now. This is a part of the Los Padres National Forest. Yeah, this is beautiful. I was supposed to go up to Breckenridge Mountain earlier with my friend, but we decided to turn around because we're going to drive up to Breckenridge. But it looked like good part of Breckenridge Mountain burnt for some reason. So I don't know what's going on. There might have been a fire I didn't even know about. Otherwise, I probably would have gone there. See if I can safely get across this road. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Some more stuff over here. Okay, well, here's some more area botany that should definitely be checked out. Right over here on the side of the road. Flannel bush, full of seed capsules. This is Fremontodendron californicum. It's another shrub that's usually found more in the interior mountains and a lot of times on the desert side of the mountains. See, we're not really that close. We're really not at the desert. We're kind of in a far inland mountain range here. So I'm not saying that it's always just in the desert side, but usually found more in the interior mountain range, interior mountains. Like here, we're really far into Ventura County. We're just miles from the Kern County border. So we're pretty far inland here. So yeah, Fremontodendron californicum. 4 months ago, this thing would have been covered in waxy yellow flowers and would have been really a sight to behold. It's still a sight to behold in my opinion, because I love these shrubs and I found them fascinating, as I find pretty much everything I talk about fascinating. You have these small leathery leaves with the felt, almost flannel-like texture to them. So yeah, Fremontodendron californicum. And yes, there's more of it growing along the side here. And I was thinking of something else at the back of my head, as I thought I saw something else I need to point out as well. There's a lot to this area. As you know, I'm a big fan of pinyon woodland. But when you got other stuff mixed in, like Jeffrey pines, further back as you go slightly lower in elevation, as you're heading back towards Frazier Park, you'll even find some California junipers mixing in. I don't see any California junipers over here, which would have been cool to see, but yeah, you got some younger flannel bush here. And then we got some more canyon live oak growing by the road. I don't see any really large tree-sized canyon live oaks, but if you go into deep canyons and moister locations, that's where you're more likely to come across some big canyon live oaks here in Southern California. Yeah, it looks like I got some more to point out. So I snap a few more pictures of the natural beauty of this area. I'll get back to you and we'll talk some more about these awesome plants here. All right, so what else do we have growing here? Let's see if I can get up a little bit on this slope, get a little closer to this shrub here. We got wedge leaf ceanothus, aka buckbrush. Ceanothus cuneatus, variety cuneatus. Growing up here. Yes, indeed. Indeed, we got buckbrush up here. I've been seeing quite a bit of this today. It can be fairly common in these interior mountains. I've been seeing quite a bit of it today, driving around and poking around in different spots. Yes, indeed. Ceanothus cuneatus, variety cuneatus. The wedge leaf ceanothus, aka buckbrush. All right. Very interesting botanical diversity, making this a really fun video to shoot. And there's a couple more things I want to point out. So I'm going to be looking around. I know I saw something else I wanted to point out. So I'll catch up momentarily. All right, well, here it is. The last picture I took, the last still picture, I took a picture of this tree here. This coniferous tree that's upright, right there in the center of the frame. That's a big cone Douglas fir, Pseudotsuga macrocarpa. It's the only one I see in this immediate vicinity. But as you head towards Ojai, you start heading towards Ojai and going up and over these mountain passes and everything, you'll come across some pretty awesome specimens of big cone Douglas firs. So if you drive over the 33, heading south, over towards the 33, heading south towards Ojai, especially around the Pine Mountain area before you start climbing up the grade to get up to Reyes Peak and the Pine Mountain campground areas, you'll come across some really decent stands of big cone Douglas fir. Some magnificently sized trees as well, I have to add. It's pretty big stuff over there. Over here, it's just an occasional pop-up here and there. Might be a few mixed in here, but yeah, there's one big cone Douglas fir up there. Just adding, again, to the beautiful diversity of this area. So let's see. Here's another hoary coffee berry. Right here. Larger Frangula californica, subspecies tomentella. Very beautiful area. Well, let's see what else I can find. Got to be more stuff around here. I know I saw something earlier. I'll see if I can find it. So, what do we have over here now? Next stop on my botanical tour is scale broom, Lepidospartum squamatum. Another species that likes to grow in disturbed areas and is quite a hardy specimen that often likes to grow on roadsides, creek bottoms, washes, and you can find this from low elevations to at least up here, maybe even higher. Scale broom kind of has a scaly texture to it, and this one's leafless right now, so it's using the green twigs for photosynthesis. When they are growing, the leaves are smaller and narrower, kind of small, light green and narrow, about the same color as the twigs. But you can see they're in seed right now. These little small achenes from each flower head that will take root in disturbed areas. So I'm not seeing a lot of it here, but I am seeing a few specimens here along the side of the road. Yet another species of awesomeness that we have growing here. Here's a smaller, younger one here. And I've read somewhere that this is the plant that ate the city of Corona, which is in northwestern Riverside County, right near the Orange County border. You can get to it on California Freeway 91 if you're coming in from far inland, or if you're coming in from Orange County, or you can get it from the 15 coming from San Diego or coming down from near Riverside. So what I've heard is that this plant is so persistent that when developers built or remodeled houses in areas where this plant grew, this plant has been known to break through the foundations of people's houses. I've never seen it myself, but this is what I've read, that this plant has been able to grow up through the foundations of people's houses and bust out into their living rooms. That's just a story I read about this plant, Lepidospartum squamatum. So this is a plant that's hard to keep down, because what happens, these plants can get buried. They can get buried under dirt and silt from flash floods and sedimentary deposits. And what will happen is they'll send shoots many, many feet up through the soil to eventually pop out and send out new green shoots. So yes, that's what I've read about this plant right here. This plant can be buried and send shoots that go way up through the newly deposited soil and bust out and create or I would say resurrect itself from being beaten down. So yeah, Lepidospartum squamatum. Pretty interesting. This plant is that tough. You look at it, you feel it. It has a gentle, lightweight feel to it when you touch it and stuff. But sometimes plants can surprise you. Well, sometimes these yerba santas have been known to come up through asphalt. I've seen evidence of this, of the regular variant of this one. Again, this is Areodictyon crassifolium variety nigrescens, the bicolored yerba santa. The regular thickleaf yerba santa, Areodictyon crassifolium variety crassifolium, I've seen it punch its way through asphalt. It'll punch its way through asphalt if the root system is buried under it. It can punch its way up through asphalt and grow up above it. So yeah, it's amazing how gentle and soft these plants look. That is very much a deceptive thing, is the appearance of these plants, because they can be tough. And I'm not sure about this. I think this is a species of Eva. I think this might be Eva axillaris, but I'm not 100% sure. This might be poverty weed. This might be Eva axillaris or another species of Eva, IVA. I'll have to double check. I'll have to double check on this one. Just noticing it now. It looks like a species of Eva in the sunflower family, the Asteraceae. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I'll have to do a little more research into it. This is another plant that likes roadsides and disturbed areas, but I do think this is a species of Eva. So stay tuned for some comments on the screen, hopefully confirming or denying, depending on what I come across in my research. So let me get a couple pictures of these. So I'm going to get ready to start wrapping this video up. Just want to take some time to appreciate the scenic beauty on in this canyon, this valley. Just appreciate how beautiful it is here. And just how nice the diversity of vegetation is growing here. Yes, when a lot of people, especially people not from Southern California or aren't well traveled within Southern California, might not realize is that Southern California, Ventura County is not just Oxnard, Ventura, and Camarillo and all those coastal places, or even Ojai and Santa Paula, but behind all that is a very wild landscape full of beautiful coniferous woodlands and forests, oak woodlands, chaparrals, riparian areas. Backcountry of Ventura County is very wild and beautiful. I've been back here a few times, been by Reyes Peak a couple times, done a few things here in Ventura County. The top of Mount Pinos is actually the only place in Ventura County and the only place in the Los Padres National Forest that is subalpine, that has limber pines growing on top of it. So yeah, Ventura County, quite a place to visit. So if you can ever get out here, it's very rare that I get out here because of how far I live, but when I'm on vacation and hanging out with my friend, we come out this way sometimes and we just need to see what's going on around here. So yeah, this is gonna basically do it for me. Let's get a few more views of this hillside. Maybe zoom in a little bit just so you can get a quick look at it and see how beautiful it is out here. But yes, this is gonna do it for my video today. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and hope this inspires you to get out to the backcountry and explore it for yourself. You will not be sorry. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another adventure video.